Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Peak Growth Podcast. Today, I have with me Mark. He's a very interesting guy with 30 years of experience selling on Wall Street, now turned to coaching. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me, Gabriel. Appreciate it.
Can you give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Sure. I come from 30 years of finance, Wall Street, and New York City. I sold AI trading software to hedge funds for a very long time. Your investment banks, you know them, Morgan Stanley, UBS, Barclays. I've been at all of them. 5 years ago, I left and I launched a sales training firm, a consultancy basically, and I coach founder-led firms now in how to sell. My approach, we'll get into it later, but it's a trust-based approach. Technology founders, even coaches, a lot of folks just don't know how to sell properly.
All right, very interesting. So, what made you want to quit Wall Street and start coaching people on how to sell?
Well, as anyone in sales will know, that I always view selling and the skill of selling as like the Force from Star Wars. You can use it for good, you can use it for evil. And so people, the wrong way of selling is transaction oriented, is what most big businesses go after. Get as many customers in as you can, convince and convert them, say the magic words to persuade them. All of that stuff, that NLP crap, doesn't work in my opinion, because the most valuable customer is the one that comes back to you. And if you want repeat revenue, then you're really building friendships. I mentioned you off camera previous, there were only so many hedge funds on Wall Street and they all knew you and you knew them and they knew each other. Selling into a small room like that, as I call it, is different from the mass funnel sale that goes on. And I really didn't like the big business push of just get more customers. Every year, sales numbers go up, make sure that you're growing. It's more about the depth of relationship in my mind. So when COVID happened and lockdown, all that bit, I quit and I launched my own company.
All right, that's a very interesting story. So, what kind of people do you like to coach right now?
I like founders that are understanding of relationship building. Because there are certain founders that, first of all, founders, if you're not a founder, if I look at a company like Walt Disney, not run by the founder, very different from a company, the Apple under Steve Jobs is different from the Apple under Tim Cook, right? When Jeff Bezos goes back into Amazon, it's founder-led again. It's a very different firm. So founders oftentimes want to build relationships with their customers, like real relationship. And so they'll put the client's interest ahead of their own companies to grow that loyalty. That's a founder-led firm. That's the difference from any of the corporate faceless, nameless, franchises you see out there. So I prefer founder-led firms.
Okay. And you mentioned to me off camera that there's something you don't like about how the sales system goes, like the sales system that just has get 1,000 leads, and you like to have repeat customers. Can we get a bit more into that, and mainly how you do that for your own business?
Sure. So in the digital world in general, digital marketing, everyone's familiar with funnels. Like you pitch and pound and get as many people filtered in, and as they go through the funnel, you try to convert them and stop the leakage. That's not how real business works. And in fact, that's not even how internet business is going to continue to work in an AI-driven world. There's so much AI slop and auto-generated crap in the DMs going on. You have it too, I'm sure, Gabriel, that trust is really the key factor now. Trust is the moat. Trust is the thing that no matter what your product or service, if they don't trust you, they're not buying. So for me, how do you do that? You actually have to help these people build their business. And oftentimes it might not even be business. You help them any way you can. Outside of business is a more powerful hook. And if people find a way to do business with you. But that concept of you're really building friendships and not relationships is new. And I think that the internet world is going to discover that in an AI generated world, it's really going to be who has the relationship that wins.
What do you mean by helping somebody outside of their business? I think it's the first time I hear this.
You and I were chatting 5 seconds before we got on here, and I said to you, I'd like to help your audience. This is behind the scenes for folks listening. I want to help your audience. I really do. Like if I help Gabriel help his audience, that's going to only become a little bit more loyalty, let's call it, or some sort of connection with me. That means, bless you. So that what that means is I have to be eyes open for how can I potentially assist you, not just in the business directly. Like I'm not here to sell you something, but if I can help you understand a concept, if I can help you understand the trends happening out there in the larger world, and that will be applicable to your business, you're going to want to keep connection with me, keep a relationship.
Interesting.
So that business that goes, the most powerful business is not rooted in business.
How can you apply something like this? I can see how you did it one-on-one, right? But how can you apply something like this on a one-to-many way? Let's say on like your social media pages or something like that?
So there you can do the educational approach, which I'm okay with. Alex Hermosa does a great job at this. Gary did a great job with it back in the day, where you're helping people understand the concepts. That's one way to do it. But that should lead to a personal relationship. Like, you can't automate trust. Let's start with that concept. That's why the funnel thing for transactions is great. If you're selling toothpaste, then I want to market as many people, filter as many people, and convert as many people. If you're selling higher end consultancy, coaching, services like, accounting for small businesses, things where you really have to get to know the nitty gritty of the company you're helping or the people, then it's trust and relationship, and you can't scale that. Like, it's going to end up having to be a one-on-one conversation at some point. But that's the money that pays. Those are the people that come back. So you can either be in the hunt for constant turnover transactions, or you could be in the building relationships long-term thing.
Okay. And I agree with you that repeat customers are the best, but there's also the challenge of increasing like the lifetime value of a customer, right? Because a lot of people start with one product and they don't know what to do next. How do you approach building on top of the first thing that you sell?
So what you're talking about there is scaling, right? So scaling in the trust category, let's call it, you would have to be able to one-to-many. If I'm coaching, for example, then I'm group coaching, right? This one-on-one conversation is good, but the fact that it's going to go out over a podcast, that scales it. So the one-on-one coaching could be one-to-many, but then you social media that out. If your question is really how do you build trust at scale, it's letting other people you don't know see you in action. If the question is how do I just get as many people, that's different. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not what I focus on, but that's something that I don't think is scalable in terms of depth.
Okay. What else do you think people misunderstand about online sales?
People think that the magic words will convert them. This big myth of NLP. If you say this and I say that, I can get you to buy. Get them to say yes up front. Get them nodding their heads. All that crap doesn't work. Because if I know that you're trying to sell me, and believe me, we all do, I'm immediately, my guard is up. But if I think you're trying to help me, well, now I'm leaning in. So for example, if I said to you, if you were a prospect of mine, and I'm like, listen, there's a trend going on right now in the space that you operate in, and you should be aware of it. These are the three things that are happening, and here's why. I'm not actually pitching you, but you're going to be like, oh, that's really helpful, Mark. Tell me more about that. How do you know that? So for example, I believe right now as AI is replacing jobs, and we all see this happening, and there's this concept out there, for those who aren't familiar, called job hugging. Job hugging is doing more work for the same pay so you don't get canned, right? They're going to lay off 20% of the people. You want to be one of the ones that gets kept. Job hugging. That's a trend. Whether you're a job hugger or you're a person that gets hit and you need to now go do your own thing, you're going to be building a business on your own. Entrepreneurship is going to accelerate from here. Not hard to see. But the problem with entrepreneurship is people don't know how to sell, and they think it's got this icky thing to it. So my point is, all of this dynamic is helpful if you're in the coaching space. You need to understand that. And once you do, you start to think, okay, how do I operate in that world? What's my difference? Those types of insights, let's call them, are how you build relationship. People start to feel they are connecting with you. There's a concept called the parasocial relationship. Have you heard this term?
Not
It's
really.
in the world of content. I'll give you like Taylor Swift or Bruce Springsteen. You listen to them enough, you start to feel like you know these people. They don't even know who you are. They don't know you exist. So Taylor Swift has no idea who Gabriel is, but Gabriel's like, hey, I'm a big fan. And so that's called a parasocial relationship. And in content, you become connected with somebody. So that's how you start to scale your trust. You show what you do and how you think. And next thing you know, people are like, I like this guy.
Okay, that's very interesting. What was the word? Parasocial relationship?
Parasocial. Parasocial is a psychology term. It just means a one-sided relationship.
And I did experience that multiple times. Like I do feel like a lot of the content creators I follow on a regular basis, I know a lot about them, and it's very interesting. I didn't know that there was a word for it, but
Who's the
it is
creator that you
something.
follow? Give me an example.
I follow Alex Hormozy, for
All right.
example.
If I asked you, what would Alex Hormozy say to this situation? You'd probably be able to answer it as Alex would, right?
I mean, I would have a good guess, yeah.
So my point is, you start to know how he thinks. One of Hormozy's principles is more, better, new. Before you do anything, if you want to grow something, you got to do more of what's working. Then you got to do it better, and then later you can introduce something new if that doesn't work. That more better new is an Alex thing. I know that because I follow Hormozy too. So I'm like, all right, I know how the guy thinks. That concept has to apply to you as well and me. People have to get to know how we would think about them.
All right, very interesting. So you mentioned you got into the discussion of AI replacing people and all that stuff. And I know there's a lot of doom around AI, but I don't really like that. I think it's some people will get laid off, and some people already got laid off. But I think it's more of a job transformation thing
I agree with you. I'm
rather
agreeing.
than just being replaced. Like at this current moment, I believe that AI is not able to replace a human being, but it is able to amplify what they do.
AI is good for the efficiency thing. So you do whatever workflow process on the back end more effectively with AI. That's true. But AI it's terrible at empathy and connection and building trust. Like there's a reason you can't automate the front end of sales. You can automate the outreach, but you can't automate the fact that I want to know who's behind the company. At some point, I'm going to have to talk to Gabriel. So AI is not going to replace people. It's going to shift what matters in business. I agree with you.
And is there a way you use AI to coach people? Is it something that you teach them to use inside your program?
I use AI for the automation back end. Let's call it to get to third and a half base. You can basically, the process for me to create the content, take my existing content, clip it up, or strategize is where I use most of my biggest use of AI is what strategies should be working right now and how is the industry developing. What doesn't work is the actual interaction with a person. You can't have AI there.
Yeah, what I mean by that is more in a way that to use it like a training ground to put the reps in. Is
So
this
what
something
I'll
that you experimented with?
Yeah, all the time. I'll give you an example. I went to a dinner, networking dinner, a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, last week, and there was a guest list, and I only knew the woman inviting me, who's a friend, and she's got a bunch of other founders and business owners that were attending. So I cut this whole list of attendees, and I drop in ChatGPT, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to a dinner. These are the people there. Let me know what these people do. Give me a quick recap on each of their businesses. Who's a potential prospect? Who should I spend the most time with? And that prep work, it spits back in 10 seconds. These are the three most important people. Here's what they do. This is the people you should speak with. Great. So that prep work is where AI can help you. I would never have AI outreach to them and be like, oh, hey, my name is Mark and we do this thing over here at Invictus. Like that's what people are doing in my DM, probably yours too.
I really like your approach. I think it's something not many people think about. At least I did nothing to like research my leads or potential partners with AI, and
I'll
it's
give you
very
another
interesting to
example,
see
Gabriel.
how other people use it.
I'll give you an
Yes.
example for you. Right before I jumped on this pod with you, and I'm like, I want to know how can I bring value to Gabriel's audience? I put this in the machine. Like, I'm going to be having this conversation. What are some of the things I should be talking about? And it spit back a whole bunch of thoughts. Like, I think this, I think that. And I'm like, okay, I have some idea now of what to talk to you about beforehand. So I make sure that we make this valuable to your group. But anyway, please continue.
I want to give you an example on how I use it as a marketer in kind of a similar way. I agree with you. You cannot, if you have it write the copy or scripts for your videos, it will not do the best job possible, but it's an amazing, amazing tool for doing research. I use it to do research on the competition, to do research on the market sentiment, meaning scraping lots and lots of comments from all social media platforms, scraping Reddit, scraping Quora, and
Mm-hmm.
you can use it to identify gaps that your competitors are not covering in their messaging, but there's a demand for it that you
I love it.
discover on the market sentiment.
That's brilliant, my friend. That's awesome. I'll give you another example for the relationship building thing. Let's say I hit it off with you and we liked each other and it went really well, and I want to send you a gift of some sort, or I've done business with you in the past. You can use AI to find out. Well, Gabriel posts all the time on football scores, and he's a really big fan of this team or whatever, and I'll send you a thing from that. Or this is a topic of interest. He's a hunter, fisherman, whatever. Like now I send you articles on that. You can build relationship by using the AI to understand the person.
Interesting. I see that a lot. Most of what you do is very focused around building relationships. So I want to ask, besides that, like, okay, we understand that relationships are the
Yeah,
core
let's put
of
that aside.
sales, right? But if I'm a beginner in the selling, right? I'm an let's say I'm an expert and I want to sell my coaching services, right? And I get on my first Zoom call with somebody who's interested in my program. I also need kind of a script, or not necessarily a
Yep.
script, but like a framework. How
I'll give you one.
would you recommend this for
So
somebody who's at a beginner level?
this is
Yeah.
what we call the escape arrival paradigm. Escape arrival means people are on the call with you in the first place, this discovery call, because they're trying to figure out, can you help them? And of course, you're trying to vet, are these people a good fit for your program? So the discovery call works like this. You have to first identify where are they in their journey. Like if you're a beginner, you have to understand your prospect. You say to them questions like, okay, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? They will tell you, well, sales, or I have difficulty speaking to clients. I don't know what content to make, whatever the problem is. But they'll tell you right now, we've established this is the problem. Then you would say, okay, what is it you're trying to get to? Like this is what you're trying to escape from. The arrival is where you'd like to be. Well, I'm hoping to, I want to build a $10,000 a month business. I want to make sure I have a steady stream of clients. I don't want to have to be relying on referrals. Whatever their arrival, doesn't matter. You are the bridge from where they are to where they want to get to. And you have to walk through how they get there, but you can't sell them. I mean, you can try to convince them, but that's not what we're talking about. It's if they're saying it, it's closing. If you're saying it, you're pitching. There's a big difference here. So what I want to do is walk you in your own mind through selling yourself on my services to help you get there. And here's how we do that. I would say to you things like, okay, so if I am hearing you right, Gabriel, this is the problem is you need more leads. Is that correct? Yes. Got it. Okay. And what you're hoping to get to is $10,000 a month, no referral business on autopilot. Yes. Got it. Okay. So the problem is we need to get to the messaging, the positioning and the messaging now. The positioning is going to be, how are you different in the marketplace? What is it about you? Why should people do business with you in the first place? If I come from 30 years of selling, that's something, but you may not. You may not have that experience. So what is it, your perspective, your worldview, or define that, number one. Positioning, how you're different. Sales narrative. A narrative is literally the words you say when you speak to a prospect. And this is like performance art, much like being on stage. You memorize the words you say, so you say them every time the same way. And people don't do this. It's so simple, but this is what good salespeople do. They know how to represent very quickly what they do. So when you have a sales narrative that expresses your positioning, how you're different, and how you help people get from X to Y, that's the whole concept of a discovery call. Your discovery call should say, this is what I do, and you understand them. And in their mind, they're going to eventually say to themselves, this person can help me, or this is not my guy. And it's okay if you're not a good fit. Like there will be times where people will want you to be like, if I'm going to be the relationship builder guy and you want to figure out funnels, I'm not your guy. That's okay. But that's what positioning and differentiation is. I'm not this and I am this. Everyone wants to be everything to everybody, and nobody trusts you if you're the everything store, right? They're not going to, if I told you I was good at this and I'm good at that and I'm great at this and I'm good at, you're going to be like, who is this guy really? So you tell,
Interesting.
I'm a fork, a spoon, or a knife, right? I'm a knife. I'll help you cut, but I'm not a spoon. I can't help you ladle. Sorry. That's the part where people don't like saying it, but it's what gets you the business.
Actually, another guest mentioned the same thing, not only from a sales perspective, but like building a whole business. He said that it's as important to define who you do not serve as it is to define who you serve.
And everyone's afraid to do that, right? Well, we do
Yeah,
that. We do everything.
everybody wants to be able to take all kinds of clients, because everybody thinks, yeah, I want more clients, so I need to be able to serve everybody. But there's an old saying that riches in the niches.
I'll give you another one. I love that. There's a concept called negative brand building. If I help serve a client that's not a good fit for me, and I don't do a good job, and they have a bad experience because we're not a good fit, they're going to go off and tell people I suck. And that has worked against all the brand building I've been trying to do. So negative brand building is destroying your brand, is avoided by just telling people up front. If you're looking for, like, I'll tell you now, funnel building, optimization, SEO, not me. None of that is me. After you've gotten all that down and now you've got these people on the phone and you don't know what to say, I'm your guy. And that's believable.
Yeah, I 100% agree. if you would try to say, "Oh yeah, I can do SEO as well,"
Right.
not the best idea.
Which is what you hear, right? Well, what do you need? We do that too. We also do coaching. We also have newsletter services. We also do
Yep.
people know.
So I do have one final question that's a bit more interesting than the others, and it's something I ask every guest. So if you could wave a magic wand and make one thing easier, what would it be?
Belief in yourself. People struggle to believe they can do it. Getting in shape, starting a business, landing a customer, learning AI. Like humans have been growing and learning for millions of years. Like we can do this. 200,000 years, like we've learned how from fire to the wheel, whatever. People today are like, oh, it's so hard. It's only hard because you think it is. When Michael Phelps wins 8 gold medals or, these unbelievable athletic achievements, people do stuff that's unbelievable all the time. They're not special. And not like you can do it too. Belief in yourself.
Amazing insights. I love it. I think self-belief, it's good to have it even to a semi-delusional level. Like you
That
need to
too,
be
you put your
a bit
finger on
out
it. That's
there.
a great insight. You have to believe in yourself when no one else does, especially in business.
Yep. 100% agree. Yeah, amazing insights. I want to thank you for taking the time to join this call. And for everybody who's watching, you can check out Invictus in the link in the description of this video. If you need to up your sales game, Mark is the guy.
Gabriel, thank you for having me. It's been an honor and I appreciate great questions. Good conversation.
Likewise. Thank you.
Peace.